Alright guys, update. So I've been having quite the fun time fiddling with the timing, the carburetor. Carburetor is actually pretty good. What I found out was my distributor was advancing at idle. This distributor I ran on my old engine, and that engine was pretty happy, idling about 750 to 800. So it wasn't really anywhere near the point where the mechanical advance started to come up. Now on this engine, it likes a much higher idle as it's got a lot bigger of a camshaft, and it idles about 900, 950. And at that point, I'm already on the centrifugal advance at idle. So what I was coming up with was issues that under load, it would obviously lower the RPM. I would lose that initial, and the car would be idling at like 500 and eventually cut out as the engine gradually slowed down. So it had me thinking, and I went to the interwebs and I kind of posted out there what I had going on, and somebody supported what I thought. My advance is coming in too soon, and under gear it's cutting back the timing because it slows down the engine speed, and the centrifugal is cutting back. So I'll show you guys kind of what that would look like. So let's say this is our timing mark, right, at 0. And our engine likes to be happy somewhere, I gotta hold this, like over here, right? So if that's where we're setting our timing, but our engine speeds up and our springs are really light in the mechanical advance, it's gonna be idling over here. And then as soon as you put it under load and you lose that couple hundred RPM or 150 RPM where this was idling at, it's gonna go back here, and you're going to idle a lot lower. It's just like when you're setting up the timing. You advance it, idle goes up. You retard the timing, the idle goes down. So let me put this back on 0. All right, so now I went to medium springs. That fixed my issue. It stabilized the timing. It's at initial. It's like 14, 22 total mechanical. Car's pretty happy. Idle's great. Idle's clean. It's not idling fat. As far as the fuel mixture goes, I am putting a wideband gauge in it. But that's about it. Small update. Obviously, I've been working on the door. I made a couple of videos already that I posted up about that, and I got another one I yet to post up. But so this is a quick way to check your distributor's advance. It's not an exact science, but it gets you in the ballpark. Now, based off of all the information out there, most GM HEIs, factory, even aftermarket, usually come anywhere between 20 to 23 degrees of mechanical. Now, I set this up. This is a stock HEI that was given to me by a friend of mine. And so this is 0, right? We locked it in. All right, so this is how you check this. You set up the distributor, you lock it in, you lock in your gear because you got to move the advance plate. But the first thing you got to do is you have to measure the base. I used a kind of a dumb way to do it, but for to show you guys, you have to measure the base with the dial caliper. You take that measurement, you know, and then you transfer it onto your paper. So you make your 2 points of your overall measurement. Now you set up your protractor to that, half of that, and you make your circle. So the circle is the base of your distributor, and that's going to be your rotational 360s based off of the overall diameter. So now I got a couple of lines here, and I'll show you what's going on. So this is our center, and we're going to go back to the distributor. And so this is our 0. We're going to hold our gear, and we're going to go over. So this is our mark. So we're going to measure that. Again, I'm using a ruler. You should be using veneers, dial calipers, fancier stuff. And I'm at about 1 inch. So we're going to go ahead, and we're going to transfer that inch from the center to the outer edge, right? Now I got 2 lines here. I'll show you guys what that's about. So, you know, you're going to transfer your line. You're going to draw it, and then you're going to draw it down where it intersects. And then you're going to grab your degree finder, whatever the hell you want to call it. You center it at 90, and at the bottom at the center. And on this one, I'm a little under 20. So I'm pretty close. Give or take, probably within 3 degrees based off all the information I found. So you could send out your distributor to get put on a machine and pay somebody, or you can find out your total mechanical and then tailor your curve with your springs. Now, this is what I had in my car. They're really light, and they move at idle. So unless you got a car that idles probably under 900, they'll work really good. The advance will come in fast. The car will probably be really happy if it's a bit of a lighter car and whatnot. Now, I got some weights. They're definitely different in shape. So the weights, and this is why I got two lines. Now, without the weights, this third line here, this is where, without the weights, we had, and that's 30 degrees. So the weights will change the amount of advance that you have. Even though I've read in a lot of places that it bears no change, that's faulty information. So pretty much, in a simple form is you make a pointer, you know, you center it, you mark it, that'll be your 0. You know, well, I just moved the whole damn thing, but, you know, you move it over, you make another mark, you measure it. Guys, again, use dial calipers. I used a ruler, probably why I'm a little off, but this is just a way to show you guys at home how to set up, you know, your mechanical advance. Obviously, the only way you're going to find out where your timing's coming at is putting the timing light on it, and whether you have degree marks on your balancer or you got a dial back timing light. That's where you can start tailoring it. And now, changing the springs is easy. You can do that with the distributor in the car. You know, holding back the timing on the distributor is going to be harder on the car. So before you maybe install your distributor, you might want to give this a shot and see where everything's at, get you in the ballpark. So that way you can say if you got 20 and you're going to be happy with that as far as mechanical, you're going to run a 14 initial, you're going to be 34 total. You know your total timing is going to be 34 with 20 degrees on the mechanical side. The other formula is finding where it all comes in, where the car is going to like it based off of the gear, cam, and all those other variables. But that's relatively easy. You know, you change your springs, you drive it, see if the car changes, if it pings or whatever. But that's how you can do that, an easier way than sending it out to somebody to do it for you. So now on this has a vacuum advance. The vacuum advance is mainly for fuel economy. It helps. I don't run one on the distributor on there, but do keep in mind that these will also alter your overall total timing, as some of these will pull up to 50 degrees of timing altogether. There is a part number for a 10-degree vacuum pot that'll keep things happy at cruising speed, but honestly, I've ran the vacuum advance and not. Car was still a pig no matter what, so I just don't run it at all. I just run my mechanical, my initial, and that's it. So I hope that helps you guys out, kind of get a rough way of figuring out your mechanical in the distributor. You get a rough idea, and again, I was pretty close considering I was using a ruler, but you should be using like a cheap set of dial calipers. You get a Harbor Freight, and maybe use a scribe versus a marker, and you can get those lines a lot tighter. And maybe for a pointer, you know, you can cut a sharp piece of sheet metal. You know, I just used a wire, but in theory, obviously, you can make this a lot more refined. This is just a quick way to show you guys how this all works. So essentially, you know, you measure your base, which ours was about 5 inches, and then you make your pointer, you measure your 2 points, you transfer that point onto paper. So if it's an inch, you start at the center where it intersects, 1 inch, line down, you measure it, you find your degrees, and you'll be good. So guys, I hope that helps you. Keep watching, keep subscribing. Thank you.